So here's the final question for the pre-records. It's also the hardest question for me to answer in a short amount of time, but I'll try. What is the legacy of Voodoo 20 years later? Well, I think it's a multi-pronged legacy. First of all, excellence. I think D'Angelo made an amazing album with a group of amazing people in a legendary studio, Electric Lady in New York City. Um, it really was a revelation and continues to be revelatory. I think when it came out, there wasn't really anything like it when it came out, and to be honest, I'm not sure there's really anything like it that's coming out now or has come out. I mean, obviously that's my opinion, uh, but I think it sets a bar, one, for younger artists. I think younger artists and younger singers, songwriters can listen to that album and say, yeah, that's the kind of work I want to do. That's the kind of music I want to make. And that's always important. And, that's the food, that nourishes the next generation of musicians. And I think that in and of itself is a great legacy for Voodoo. I think it also is great for just listeners because I think it's an album that will transcend generations. I think, for example, because I remember in 2000 there were many people who didn't get it. I remember people who were saying to me, it's a little weird, it's a little experimental. I don't know if it's sort of over my head. And I think now, 20 years later, those people they had to catch up with it. They grew up and sort of got some life experience, and then they went back to Voodoo and went, oh, I get it now. I see what D'Angelo is trying to do. I see that I see the tapestry that was woven, and I appreciate it now. And I remember telling people in 2000, I said, this is going to be an album 10, 20 years from then that is going to, people were going to catch up with it, and it was going to be the album that was going to click in their head down the line. And I think that's why you have a lot of people now with the 20th anniversary, really, appreciating what D'Angelo and crew did on that album. And, it's going to stand the test of time. I think, it's going to influence, again, new generations and new listeners, just like Songs in the Key of Life does, just like Kind of Blue does, just like Sgt. Pepper does. It's going to be in that category of great albums that will, be timeless. And I think, I'm just glad to say that I was there when it came out. And I'm definitely proud to say that I was able to write about it for 33 and a third.